Alright, so we'll be meeting up with one of our dear friend who's going to be giving out good news for you guys. Oh, ada teng-teng. Hi guys, yes, we've met, or rather I've met the producer and the director for apa? Nak cakap apa maybe you guys don't know, this is the Muhammad Shaifulbahri that we've been talking about. Daripada situ
I know. I keep looking.
Yeah, me too.
I want to look at myself.
So he's the director and producer for Every Brilliang Things. Every Brilliang Things. That's going to be Every Brilliang Thing.
Kau jangan sembarang. And so Bhumi Collective, as I mentioned earlier, is a company that is very interested in telling stories about the lesser seen, lesser heard, and lesser talked about. So if you feel like there are voices and groups of people that are underrepresented in the arts, you feel like there are stories of people who we don't hear about as much or talk about as much, and we should be addressing this and we should be presenting their stories because we talk about representation. Feel free to drop us an email and tell us a little bit more, and if you have any inspirations for people who you feel you should be talking to, we're happy to go and explore that. Those kind of stories, because it's not just the stories but also forms and mediums as well. We're looking at being a multidisciplinary. Well, we're hoping to be a multidisciplinary company that will work with a lot of different artists across all forms, but to encourage artists to go and make art that tells very good stories, hopefully. So if you do have them, feel free to drop us an email, hello@bhumicollective.com.
Yep, hello@bhumicollective.com. Or you can also visit the website, Facebook, search BHUMI space collective, COLLECTIVE. Right? I hope I spelled that right. Collective. Yes, they're very interesting. Otherwise I won't be talking to them. And yes, unfortunately Amin is not here to also share what exactly, or rather his part of the story. But hopefully when he's back, we get a chance to speak to him more.
On that note, because you mentioned Amin, I think since we're talking a bit about the company as well, so Bhumi Collective, as you said, is a multidisciplinary company. So for those of you who are wondering, how come they were doing Malay dance combined with contemporary dance, combined with, that was in Edinburgh, and then suddenly they did Malay dance with Bharatanatyam and contemporary dance for Ikan Girl in Singapore, and all these other projects that are happening in the UK and whatnot, and then suddenly do theatre. That's because we are hoping to do a lot of different things. And if we want to talk about having diversity in terms of the stories that are being told on stage, we also thought that as a company, the people and the stories that we have, and the form and the way the stories are presented will also be in various ways. And I think that will make it exciting, because one of the things that we hope to do is not to just react to the times that we are living in, but we also want to react to how artists are interested to react to what moves them and what inspires them and what excites them as well.
Yep. So if you are keen into collaborating with Bhumi Collective,
just drop us an email. Amin and I will get back to you.
Amin and Kim and Amin. And yes. So how do I become a member of Bhumi Collective?
That's what idea.
Okay.
So it actually stars Andrew Marco, who recently won Best Actor at the M1, the Straits Times Live Theatre Awards, for his role in Falling by Pandemonium last year. And with Andrew, this is actually the 5th time I'm working with him, and the 4th time I'm directing him. Over the years, he has worked with us at my previous organization, Yellow Chair Productions, and we've had a very good working relationship. I think Andrew is an actor who is very easy to work with. He's got a certain charm to him, and he's very funny. So this particular role requires all of those characteristics. One, you need to have charm because you're one actor sort of on stage, and you have to capture everyone's attention, and I think he does that very well. And in addition to the charm, I think he's also quite endearing as well. It's quite easy to sort of follow him and how he speaks, and I think just people warm up to him very easily. And at the same time, I think he's also a very funny person, and this piece is one that requires a lot of humor because there is a fair bit of improvisation in it. Yes, the script is there, but there are moments when I'm giving this away a little bit, tackling a very heavy and serious topic. So you need someone who can have that balance. So I think Andrew, those are some of the characteristics that he has that made me feel like, okay, he's the right candidate for it. When I first read the piece and I thought, if I were to do this in Singapore, who would I think about? To me, the first person I had in mind was actually Andrew. So I'm really glad he actually said yes. So. Firstly, Every Brilliang Thing has a lot of relevance to any community, be it Malay or any other racial groups that we have. It's because as a society, mental health is considered less taboo over recent years as a topic of as a topic that's talked about in society, because I think there's been a growing number of organizations that look into supporting those who are going through it and whatnot. And also I think even campaigns that are being done by schools, by university groups, and sometimes just there's a wonderful project called the Tapestry Project, in which they talk about the power of story and this idea how those who are undergoing mental health issues are actually telling their stories. It's a very peer supported network. So I think just the idea of looking out for each other and being able to share a little bit more publicly. So I think on that level, as a whole society, it's growing. So I think it's and even in theatre, we've seen in the last few years, there's been a growing number of productions that talk about different mental health issues. But if we're talking about specifically the community, I think because this play, for example, on one level talks about depression and whatnot. On one level, this play talks about depression, and depression, as we established, is one of the more talked about topics. So you actually have an organization like Club Heal that actually exists, that actually supports, that looks into the Malay Muslim community's needs, especially for those who are struggling with it, especially for family members and caregivers who are trying to understand better how to deal, and manage, and because sometimes it's not just about caring for that person, because it also takes a toll on the caregiver as well. And I think on the issue of suicide, I feel it's still a topic that is somewhat taboo in our community, and it's a little tougher to handle and to deal with, and to address. And I think it's good that we have a piece like this that's out there that sort of allows us to come together as human beings, and realizing that we all do need each other at the end of the day. So it's, while specific communities can find relevance, there's also this sort of like bigger kind of thing as a whole society that we can take away from this.
And is there any good news for them in any way?
I think what Hairul is trying to say is whether our team has a discount for Docket followers, and we do. So actually the discount is apa discount dia?
First, we got discount. The discount is Docket 20.
Oh yes. Okay.
Di Docket 20. So it's DOCKET 20.
MOUSE.
Funny.
So yeah, so the discount code is Docket 20. But what is the discount?
So why is it so? Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so ticket prices to Every Brilliant Thing are $35 for general audience and $30 for students and NSF. However, with the discount code, that we've just mentioned, the tickets will only be $20. And this will only be available for shows from the 20th to the 23rd of April. Yeah, only because we've sold out our shows on 18th and 19th of April. Yeah, so once again, the discount code is Docket20, DOCKET20. So you just email us, and the link will be provided by Hairul. How you can, is it gonna be down there? Or is it gonna be up there? I don't know. Down there or there. And when you do that, when you email to book the tickets, just quote the code Docket 20, you can get it. So Every Brilliant Thing runs at Centre 42 in Waterloo Street from the 18th to the 23rd of April.
Yep. And yes, the discount is only valid for the days from 20th to 23rd. Yeah. That's what Thursday. Okay, Thursday
So
to
it's
Saturday.
Thursday to Sunday.
Yep. And
I think for me, it's a bit of yes and no, because if you look at the track record of, or at least my body of work over the years as a producer and director, even during Yellow Chair, we had already done scripts that were not necessarily specifically written by Singaporean playwrights. So we've done stuff like The Last 5 Years, musical, which is from America, and then we did Fat Pig, and All This Intimacy. All those are not local plays, so for this particular instance, I had known about this text because we were in Edinburgh Fringe last year. What happened was this was a very, very popular show that was going on over there. In fact, I actually didn't hear much about it, but I knew I was watching shows at the same venue that was showing this particular play. But I actually bumped into many friends who were watching it and told me, "Oh my God, Shai, you need to watch this show, Every Brilliant Thing." And I was like, bigger sort of thing as to why I had chosen this text was actually because of the story. I think the story and the play itself, and I think is a wonderful piece of theatre. It's a piece of theatre that has stripped away everything, no set, lights or some of that. It's just that actor playing that character, telling that story, and I think it's a very moving story, but also, and I think that is a lot stronger as to why, we decided to go ahead and do that. I don't know anyone personally, if I can just recall, who may have gone to that point where they felt like they wanted to commit suicide. Yeah. Because I don't know the extent of the depression that one might have. So in the cases of those who I know who have been undergoing challenges with regards to depression and how they're trying to manage and combat depression, sometimes you don't get the full picture as a friend. Sometimes you don't know everything because the person doesn't quite reveal what he or she wants to reveal. So I think for me, do I feel like there are people who I think of when Andrew's character talks about his mother, and having that kind of challenges? I guess yes, because that's also the reason why, one of the reasons why I've decided to tackle this play, and that is, I find that sometimes when people are undergoing depression, a lot of us are not able to understand, or when we try to be more helpful, we don't know how to be more helpful. Because sometimes you feel a little helpless in instances where you want to be there for the person, but actually what the person might require at that point in time is space. Yeah. And then secondly, I think people want to, they just want you to ask them how they are sometimes, just to know, to show that you care. But sometimes you can't help but feel that just doing something like that alone might not be enough, because you try to ask them out, for example, and there are days when it kicks in and that's the last thing they want to be doing. And sometimes we as people, as friends and whatnot, we can't understand that. And after a while it becomes challenging trying to grasp that. So I'm saying that I've done what I've been doing as a friend, but I just want to do more, but sometimes you don't have the opportunity to do more or the space to do more. And for me, the best way I know to share that I do care with some of my friends who are undergoing this battle is through theatre, because I think it's representation is important. When we talk about people being seen on stage, we talk about diversity, we talk about different things, about the idea of how you bring to light issues that sometimes we don't talk about or we don't necessarily know about and whatnot, so that it is in the public eye a little bit more, so that people can get a lens in to peer through, to look, to be able to understand a little better as well. So for me, because this is my practice, right? This is what I've chosen to do, and Bhumi Collective as a company chooses to tell what we describe as stories about the lesser seen, lesser heard, and lesser talked about. Then an issue like this obviously falls into that overarching kind of philosophy behind what we want to do. And yeah, I think this is just a starting point with regard to what we want to explore further. Firstly, Every Brilliang Thing has a lot of relevance to any community, be it Malay or any other racial groups that we have. It's because as a society, mental health is considered less taboo over recent years as a topic of as a topic that's talked about in society, because I think there's been a growing number of organizations that look into supporting those who are going through it and whatnot. And also I think even campaigns that are being done by schools, by university groups, and sometimes just there's a wonderful project called the Tapestry Project, in which they talk about the power of story and this idea how those who are undergoing mental health issues are actually telling their stories. It's a very peer supported network. So I think just the idea of looking out for each other and being able to share a little bit more publicly. So I think on that level, as a whole society, it's growing. So I think it's and even in theatre, we've seen in the last few years, there's been a growing number of productions that talk about different mental health issues. But if we're talking about specifically the community, I think because this play, for example, on one level talks about depression and whatnot. On one level, this play talks about depression, and depression, as we established, is one of the more talked about topics. So you actually have an organization like Club Heal that actually exists, that actually supports, that looks into the Malay Muslim community's needs, especially for those who are struggling with it, especially for family members and caregivers who are trying to understand better how to deal, and manage, and because sometimes it's not just about caring for that person, because it also takes a toll on the caregiver as well. And I think on the issue of suicide, I feel it's still a topic that is somewhat taboo in our community, and it's a little tougher to handle and to deal with. and to address. And I think it's good that we have a piece like this that's out there that sort of allows us to come together as human beings and realizing that we all do need each other at the end of the day. So it's, while specific communities can find relevance, there's also this sort of like over bigger kind of thing as a whole society that we can take away from this.
And is there any good news for them in any way?
I think what Hairul is trying to say is whether our team has a discount for Docket followers, and we do. So actually the discount is apa discount dia?
First, we got discount. The discount is Docket 20.
Oh yes, okay.
The Docket 20. So it's DOCKET 20.
MOUSE.
Funny.
So the discount code is Docket 20. But what is the discount?
So why is it discount? Yes. Exactly.
So ticket prices to Every Brilliang Thing are $35 for general audience and $30 for students and NSF. However, with the discount code, that we've just mentioned, the tickets will only be $20. And this will only be available for shows from the 20th to the 23rd of April. Only because we've sold out our shows on 18th and 19th of April. So once again, the discount code is Docket20, DOCKET 20. So you just email us, and the link will be provided by Hairul to how you can, is it gonna be down there? Or is it gonna be up there? I don't know.
Down there
or there. And when you do that, when you email to book the tickets, just quote the code Docket20, you can get it. So Every Brilliang Thing runs at Centre 42 in Waterloo Street from the 18th to the 23rd of April.
Yep. And yes, the discount is only valid for the days from 20th to 23rd.